All right, today we have our monthly edition of Gacha PvP. We have the monthly revenue report for Gacha Games for the month of September. Now, I didn't get a chance to make a video about the August report, but I'm sure you all probably saw it from other creators, and that report was kind of crazy with the some of the stuff that was on the top and some things that fell on that report. But we're not going to focus on that. We are going to focus on September, and this month definitely was a pretty interesting one. I mainly am going to focus on stuff like in the top 10 plus games that I just know about, because I'm not going to sit here and try to comment on games that I don't know that much about. So we will do that. So I have it pulled up here. Now, well, yeah, we'll go from the bottom all the way up. And the only game that I want to comment on that's not on this page here, or like at the section, is if I scroll down, we have Wuthering Waves right here at very low spot. And for Wuthering Waves, yeah, they went down in revenue. Pretty much they got a bit less than half of what they had in August. And this is definitely like mostly in part to the fact that their most recent character, well, not most recent, but the main character of September, being Zhang Yao, he was free. So a lot of people, probably just didn't pull. And then I know Shorekeeper did come out at the very end of the month, but it seems like the revenue for that was not nearly enough to get Wuthering Waves even back up to like 10 million. So I think Wuthering Waves is probably going to stay in this kind of situation for a while, which is kind of unfortunate with how, good and promising the game is. I only really see two characters for Wuthering Waves bringing it up to like back being like up here. And that's probably going to be Camellia and Scar when they come out. I know Camellia got drip marketed already, which is awesome. So we'll see how that goes when she comes out. But for now, Wuthering Waves is probably going to be like low, 10 millions and stuff like that. Just going forward, I don't really see too much happening for Wuthering Waves. And also, I'll comment on it real quick because I did used to play it, Dragon Ball Legends. They really just didn't release anything like super crazy this month. So that's why they're down here at just 5.9 million for September. So now let's jump back up here. Pretty much everything that I know about is in the top 10 now, or well, top 6 over here. So at number 6, we have Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. If you've been a fan of the channel, I love this game so much. And they actually made slightly more money than August, which is kind of interesting to me because we only had 2 premium character releases in August for Dokkan. Because, not August, for September. Because August had because Dokkan, they're wrapping up their worldwide campaign over the next couple days. And the first premium characters for that came out at the end of August. And then the second batch came out in around like mid-September. So the fact that Dokkan was able to compete with August, where August they did have a bunch of releases come out because it did pack a bunch of banners into the global side. This is really good for Dokkan. And considering that their versions are now synced now, the Japanese and global versions, I think there's going to be a lot more hype for celebrations going forward. But Dokkan will probably take a backseat when we get to the October revenue next month, just because we don't have like a super hype celebration coming, unless the upcoming Dragon Ball Daima stuff goes crazy. So we'll have to see what Dokkan does for that. But them being in the top 10, I do love to see it, especially as one of the like longest lasting gacha games, because Dokkan's approaching 10 years, which is pretty crazy. Now let's move on to Zenless Zone Zero right above Dokkan here. Only making 1.5 million more than Dokkan. And they made a bit more than they did last month as well, which is good. Now, on one hand, judging from the hype I've seen because this past month we had Jane and Caesar come out, I expected this number to actually be like a little bit higher. Maybe hit like the 40 millions. But I still think this is fine. As long as they are still keeping at that, like, I think they can keep above like 30 million. They should be fine. I'm not really like too concerned for Zenless. I did expect them to be a little bit higher than where they are, but we'll have to see with other character releases. I know this month we will have Bernice come out, and I'm not sure. Actually, here, let me pull up the calendar here, because Bernice should be coming out on the 16th. Okay, yeah, no. So we'll just have Bernice. Okay, yeah, we'll just have Bernice. So we'll have to see how that does. Did not mean to zoom out there. But overall, yeah, Zenless on Zero, I think it's just doing fine. I know we had that first crazy month when it first came out where it got like a ton of money, but I think this is pretty much where we could probably expect Zenless to be, outside of like ridiculously hype moments like when they get to 2.0 and stuff like that in the future. So yeah, overall pretty solid for Zenless. Now, even though I don't play it and don't know much about it, I will comment on AFK Journey just because I didn't get to make a video last month for the revenue, because they had a crazy amount of revenue. They were #1 last month, and they dropped down, which everyone expected, honestly. I think that from what I remember hearing, AFK Journey's revenue was so high last month because they had an update that I think either like fixed some things, or it was released the game into a new region, pull out for like a bigger player base. So a lot of stuff happened for AFK Journey, which all seemed pretty good from what I was hearing. So they did get a lot of money. It did drop significantly, which makes sense because those like big update things that usually will only last for a month. So I'm not really, too pressed on that. AFK Journey, depending on what they do, they could go down more. They could stay kind of consistent. I don't even think that they'll stay at 34 million. I could probably see them dropping down. Like if they're doing like much better than they used to be, I could see them being like 15, 20 million on average, which I think for a game like that's probably fine. And if they have big updates, they can jump back up again, because, considering that they're still at 34 million here, they're definitely doing something right now. So that is awesome to see. And, maybe I'll take the time to learn some more about the game. Then at number 3, we have Genshin Impact. Now, Genshin, they did make a little bit more money than they did in the previous month. And that is kind of interesting to me, because I mean, they did have some earnings from the first Natlan character, Mualani, but now, and then for this month, they had the second character. I'm completely forgetting his name, but if you play Genshin, you know who I'm talking about. So with that, I do think Genshin is probably just going to continue to be in this spot of it's doing well enough for the players who are still playing, but I don't think it's going to make any of your super big waves, especially how we saw at the beginning of Natlan, because everyone was expecting, Genshin's going to do really well on the Sensor Tower report for August, because it's going to be the start of Natlan, everyone's going to spend, and there's going to be a lot more players. But Genshin did not even beat. Genshin was like, it barely beat Star Rail last month, but it wasn't like a crazy amount. They were only at 42 million. So that is, that's kind of, my take with Genshin. I think they're going to continue to just like coast and be fine, but Genshin is no longer the game that is going to do some crazy numbers for Hoyo. That is going to be Star Rail, which we're going to get to Star Rail in a second. But first, I want to comment on number 2 here, Love in Deepspace, another game, similar to AFK Journey that I don't play and don't know much about, but it's a game that you probably have been forced to hear about because of everyone talking about it ever since it started to do crazy well on the Gacha Revenue. And once again, it went up in revenue. It made 62 million. That's a massive gap between it and Genshin, and also everything else on the list. Now, I do think Love in Deepspace doing well it's honestly a good thing. Now, is it a game I'll ever play? Probably not. It's just not my kind of game. But I do think that this game is very different, because I know a lot of the games that we have are, obviously like there's good, male characters in some of the games for people who are into, those having those kind of male characters, but Love in Deepspace takes it and just takes it to 100% basically with that. So catering to that audience and having a game that specifically does, and also has, good other aspects to it as well from what I hear, it's definitely good that it's succeeding to, help out and reach that market. So we do love to see that. Again, not a game I'll ever play, I don't think, but it is cool that it's doing well, and it is cool that a lot of people really do enjoy it. Then at number 1, we got the best gacha game that I've played, in my opinion. We got Honkai Star Rail. Honkai Star Rail doing absolutely massive numbers, 67 million, and this is on the release of a single new 5-star in Fei Xiao, which we honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Fei Xiao did this well, because they actually marketed her very well. She got multiple trailers. She was drip marketed before the 2.4 quest, and then when we played the 2.4 quest, everyone was like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. Then of course we find out that she's also like super broken as a TPS, and then when she dropped, everyone pulled for her. So yeah, the Star Rail making 67 million, that's not a surprise for me at all. I think that's pretty understandable. Now for Star Rail, I don't know how many people are gonna pull for Rappa for the October month, but what I do know is, depending on what rerun banners we get in 2.6, that could determine a lot for Star Rail's placement on the October revenue chart. I could definitely see them falling from number 1, but they're still going to be in like the top 5, you know, top 6 kind of area. But depending on what rerun banners go with 2.6, I do think that Honkai Star Rail is still going to do just fine. I mean, they made 40 million in last month when their only character last month was Jiao Cho, who is a character that a lot of people skipped. So if they could do 40 million on a month like that, Star Rail is going to be fine. I'm not concerned about Star Rail at all. So yeah, that is my thoughts for the Gacha revenue here. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments down below. And yeah, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see for the next month. Again, I am most interested to see where some of these games are going to end up with their releases going forward. I actually haven't quite looked at who's coming out next for Genshin, but they are only going to have one character. They might have one character released next month, I believe. So it's either 1 or 2. I'm not sure how the dates are going to line up for Genshin, but regardless, let me know what you all think in the comments. If you enjoyed and want to see more content from me, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button. But with that, I will see you all next time.